Hello, I'm Dr. Deena Stacer. I've been teaching parenting classes for the San Diego Family Court System since 1997. I have worked with over 5,000 parents who've been in conflict over their children. I have consulted with parents involved in some of the highest and most difficult types of conflict. I use a combination of mediation, education, and I have a sense of humor to help resolve these cases. I have teaching credentials ranging from kindergarten through junior college, a bachelor's in child development, a master's in leadership, and a doctorate in psychology. I launched my online co-parenting courses in 2009. Today, parents can take a 2-hour, 4, 6, 8, 12, 18, 24, 40, and 80-hour course online to help them reduce their conflict. Parents who have high levels of conflict should obviously take the most hours. Classes are located at www.parentsinconflict.com. Now, so let's define a high conflict case. Years ago, when my partner, who was still alive, and I sat down, we said, let's define a high conflict case. Now, when high conflict cases first became a popular term, this was years ago, close to 20 years ago, people were like, well, what is a high conflict case? Everybody knows what it is, but no one can define what it is. So we sat down and we said, what is a high conflict case for our purposes of teaching, educating, getting people out of conflict? This is what we came up with. High conflict occurs in cases when one or both of the parents involved in the conflict cannot or will not let go of their marital relationship or the marital battle. Now, they may not have been married, because we have gay couples that are having the same issue, and some of them are married and some of them are not. We've got couples that, it's a paternity issue where the parents were never married, but they still have the same marital relationship war. They're still at war over things that happened when they were together or should have been together. Recently, my husband and I both settled a potential high conflict case with a couple that they were not married. They lived together for a short period of time during the pregnancy. And she came to the office and rocked the office with her anger. I mean, she was one really angry person whose whole body turned ugly. And he would just throw money at stuff. But they had a little kid together, and so they were trying to sort things out, and they couldn't do it on their own. And later on, I worked with her after the mediation was done. I with their agreement, I worked with her on some strategies to disengage from the anger, because of course that anger is keeping the child from being connected to the mom. She says, I'm not present for my child. But the conflict was still going on months after they'd split up. So if that's something that you're familiar with, basically one or both of the parents can't let go. And this mother in particular was so focused that we need to go to therapy to do forgiveness. We need to talk about what happened. We need to figure out how to resolve it. We need to go through this cathartic experience so I can move on. I helped her actually go another direction instead of that, because that was a waste of time. It wasn't going to work. Now, the other piece that goes on is that the frequent intervention by the courts is absolutely necessary, because the family can't do it on their own. They can't adjust. They're always going to court. They're always getting disrupted. They're always having conflict. And so emotionally, they never calm down. And one of the important pieces that you need to know in conflict, the rules are different than co-parents. And one of the rules is every single time you hear the other person's voice, or you see their face, whether it's in person or through an email or a text or a phone call or through a family member or someone else, every single time there's an interaction with that other person, it takes 72 hours at a minimum to calm down. 3 days. So if you've got a parent or two parents who are trying to share the children, and they're always angry with each other and always seeing each other at exchanges and always at the school and going to sporting events, the children never have a chance to have a parent be emotionally present because the parents can't calm down. And the conflict actually allows the parents to maintain a marital relationship with each other. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why conflict keeps people engaged, but it allows the parents to still have a relationship. So a lot of times when parents come into my class and I'm teaching them, I'll say, so why do you think you're in conflict? And they'll give me a reason why the other parent is doing something. The other parent is afraid to be alone. The other parent needs more money from me, so they're trying to get more time from the children. The other parent is not able to go out in the world. They have social issues. They're not a social butterfly. They can't do that. The other parent doesn't want to go back to work. The other parent is so mad at me that I cheated on them, or they cheated on me, or that I called their bluff and said it's over. So the conflict, going to court, having conflict with each other, staying engaged, writing emails, writing texts, there becomes a connection with each other. And of course that leads to an addiction. And that's an adrenaline rush. The rush actually turns people on. Now, it sounds sick, but basically this rush keeps the parents highly energized and addicted to each other. A lot of parents, when they come into my class, are like, oh my gosh, that's me. But it's because it's gone on so long. The parents are completely connected to each other because of the adrenaline rush. Now, think about it this way. Let's pretend that there's a baseline for emotion. Let's call it the normal baseline. And then let's say you go to work and somebody's really upset that day and your stress level goes up, right? And so then you get home at night and then it calms down and that person apologizes the next day. And so you had a little stress that day. Well, think about this. If the baseline for you and the other parent is not normal, but it's high conflict, high emotion, high drama. Every time I see you, I my skin crawls, my mind races. I feel like throwing up on you. I want to punch you. I want to run away. I feel like I'm dizzy. I feel like whatever it is. That is not a normal baseline. That baseline is above normal. So if you're always running high anxiety states and then the conflict drops, that person doesn't like the emptiness that goes below the normal in order to recover. So we all know that what goes up must come down. Well, our anxiety state is like that. We're going. Okay, let's say it's normal. Now it revs up. We start ramping up 3 days before we see the other parent. And then after the parent, it crashes. So we keep engaged by having reasons to stay in a relationship. We drive by, we go to the parents' conference, we have to go to co-parenting counseling. So some of it is deliberate, where somebody really can't let go, and some of it is just the way the courts set you up to have exchanges all the time. And so you got to figure out, what do you want? If you want to end the conflict, you're going to have to go through the dips and the drops to get into stability. Now, there's other ways to help you do that, and that is using your energy to focus on getting in the children's imagination. And it helps with that, because when you're worried about whether you're going to have a relationship with your children, you take action, your kids respond, then you realize, oh, I don't have anything to worry about. This is the definition of high conflict, and that is that parents really get kind of a high. They get addicted to the conflict. We want to help parents disengage from the conflict so that they can calm down, and then the energy that they have, they can get into the children's imagination. Hope this has been helpful. There are other videos and information online to help you start putting in place the strategies to disengage from the conflict and the strategies to use your newfound energy to get in the children's imagination and build a wonderful future, bonding your children forever and ever and ever and ever with you, even though there's been a breakup and the other parent may want to keep the conflict going. Dr. Deena, looking forward to seeing you at parentsinconflict.com.